It was another quiet evening at home. The flickering TV, my only company as Jennifer was, yet again, running late from work. I sighed, glancing at the clock for the umpteenth time. Her excuses about meetings and deadlines were becoming increasingly hollow, but I tried to push the nagging doubts aside. Jennifer was a dedicated professional. After all, ambitious, driven, qualities I had once admired. The front door swung open, and Jennifer breezed in, all flustered apologies. Sorry, hon. Another conference call ran long. She pecked my cheek, her perfume's lingering floral notes mingling with a hint of something else, something vaguely familiar yet elusive. No problem, I lied with a tight smile, my eyes unconsciously drifting to the disheveled state of her hair and rumpled blouse. A pang of unease twisted my gut, but I forced it down. Jealousy was an ugly beast, one I refused to entertain. Over the following weeks, Jennifer's absences and late nights became more frequent, her once vibrant eyes growing increasingly distant. I found myself scrutinizing her every move, searching for clues to explain her emotional withdrawal. The gnawing sense that something was amiss only intensified, festering like an open wound. One night, as I pretended to watch the news while Jennifer puttered around the kitchen, a new scent wafted through the air, a distinctly masculine cologne. My heart stuttered as realization dawned. Of course, that's what the lingering fragrance had been. Another man's signature scent clinging to her skin, her clothes. Mouth dry, I fought to keep my voice steady. Hey Jen, did you have a meeting with the regional managers today? She stiffened, just briefly, before forcing a casual laugh. Oh, the usual. Just reviewing quarterly projections and all that. Lies. Blatant, bold-faced lies tumbling from the lips I had once trusted implicitly. In that moment, the truth became undeniable. My wife, the woman I loved with every fiber of my being, was being unfaithful. But I remained silent, lacking the courage to confront her outright. Because deep down, I feared the answer would obliterate what little remained of my heart. The days bled into weeks, my suspicions festering like an open wound. Jennifer's excuses grew increasingly flimsy, her behavior more erratic. She'd come home later and later, reeking of unfamiliar cologne and cheap liquor, her makeup smeared and hair disheveled. One night, as she stumbled through the door well past midnight, mumbling something about a work emergency, I snapped, "Cut the crap, Jennifer. I know you're seeing someone else." Her eyes widened, panic flickering across her features before she regained her composure. "Don't be ridiculous, Charles. You're just being paranoid." "Am I?" I stepped closer, my voice trembling with barely contained fury. "Then why do you smell like another man's cologne? Why are you constantly working late, disappearing for hours on end without explanation?" She recoiled, shrinking under the weight of my accusations. I can explain." "Save it." I spat, turning away to conceal the anguish contorting my face. "I'm going out. Don't wait up." Jennifer following me. "I'm leaving too. I've to be somewhere." Please, Charles, listen to me." I didn't care where she needed to be, and I walked off. Grabbing my jacket, I stormed out into the night, desperate to escape the suffocating confines of our home, our lie. Aimless steps carried me through familiar streets, now cast in harsh shadows that seemed to mock the crumbling facade of my once idyllic life. In a blur of pent-up rage and heartbreak, I found myself outside her sister's apartment complex. If Jennifer truly was there for girl time, as she so often claimed, I would have my answer. Fumbling in my pocket, I retrieved the spare key she didn't know I possessed and let myself inside. But the apartment was dark, eerily silent. A knot of dread coiled in my gut as realization dawned. She had lied about her whereabouts, yet again. Desperate for answers, I began a frantic search, scouring the premises for any clue as to her true location. And that's when I heard it, the muffled sound of voices filtering through the walls, punctuated by breathless gasps and unmistakable moans of pleasure. My heart pounded in my ears as I followed the noise, each step feeling heavier than the last. And then, through the cracked door of what appeared to be a spare bedroom, I saw them, Jennifer and another man, limbs entwined, locked in a passionate embrace on the rumpled sheets. The world seemed to tilt on its axis as a strangled cry tore from my lips. Jennifer? What? What is this? They sprang apart, eyes wide with sheer terror, clothes scattered haphazardly around them. Jennifer could only muster a feeble, "Charles, I can explain," but I was beyond hearing explanations, beyond reason. Explain? Explain what? That you've been sleeping with another man? This is where you have to be after I leave the home. I can't believe this. Sobs racked my body as the harsh reality set in. This wasn't a one-time mistake, a momentary lapse in judgment. This was a full-blown affair, a calculated deception that had been unfolding right under my oblivious gaze. The other man, her lover, her paramour, hurriedly grabbed his clothes, muttering frantic apologies under his breath as he tried to make himself decent and exit as quickly as possible. But I wasn't about to let him slink away, not after witnessing the ultimate betrayal with my own eyes. "Where are you going?" I roared, grabbing him by the arm with a vice-like grip. "You're going to sit down and listen to how much you've broken my life." Over the next several hours, I unleashed a torrent of rage and anguish upon them both, dissecting every sordid detail of their deception with surgical precision. Vile names and accusations hung thick in the air as I forced them to confront the full gravity of their actions, the depths of their deceit. By the end, Jennifer was pale and trembling, her makeup smeared by streams of mascara-tinged tears. "Charles, I'm so sorry," she whimpered, voice hoarse from sobbing. "Please, let's go to counseling. Work through this." But her pleas fell on deaf ears. The woman before me, the one I had sworn to love and cherish until death did us part, was now a stranger, a shell of the person I had once known, her true self laid bare in all its ugliness. "Don't insult me further," I spat, jaw clenched against the fresh wave of anguish threatening to consume me. "We're done." With those words, I severed the last tattered threads tying me to the life I had once known, the woman I had loved with every fiber of my being. Turning on my heel, I stormed out into the night, desperate to put as much distance as possible between myself and the wreckage of our marriage. In the ensuing days, Jennifer tried everything to win back my trust, pleading, sobbing, leaving anguished voicemails and texts begging for a chance to make things right. But her entreaties fell on deaf ears. My heart, once so full of love and devotion, had hardened into an impenetrable fortress, walling off any lingering shreds of affection. "Please, Charles," she implored during one of her many unannounced visits, tears streaking her makeup-smeared cheeks. "I made a horrible mistake, but I still love you. Let's go to counseling, work through this together." I regarded her with a hollow stare, numb to her histrionics. "Leave, Jennifer. You've done enough damage." As the weeks wore on, the weight of her betrayal began to suffocate me, each breath a bitter reminder of the life I had lost. Simply leaving her wasn't enough. I needed her to face real consequences, to understand the full gravity of her actions. One day, as I was packing up her remaining belongings, a glint of light caught my eye. Her phone, carelessly discarded on the bedside table, its screen alight with a new message notification. Without a second thought, I swiped it open, and what I found made my blood run cold. A veritable treasure trove of raunchy texts, explicit photos, and even a few short videos documenting her sordid affair with that man, George, her boss. In that moment, a cold clarity washed over me. I would ensure they both paid dearly for their deception. First, I tracked down George's wife, Diane, showing up unannounced at her doorstep late one night. At first, she was furious at this stranger's intrusion, but her face drained of color when I revealed the truth about her husband's infidelity, evidence in hand. "He's been having an affair with my wife," I stated matter-of-factly, bracing myself for the onslaught of her anguish and rage. To her credit, Diane didn't crumble or plead for explanations. Instead, a steely resolve hardened her features, and she wordlessly accepted the damning proof I had brought. With the help of these documents, she was able to secure a sizable portion of George's assets in the ensuing divorce proceedings. But I wasn't done yet. George and Jennifer had to face professional consequences for their actions as well. Without a shred of remorse, I forwarded the entire collection of incriminating evidence to their company's managing team. Within days, they were both unceremoniously terminated from their positions, left to grapple with the fallout of their shattered reputations. As the weeks dragged on, the videos and photos I had uncovered made their rounds online and through social media, spreading like wildfire through our once respectable social circles. Suddenly, Jennifer and George found themselves persona non grata, unable to find work anywhere in the city after the extent of their indiscretions came to light. With no other options, they were forced to pack up and leave, trading their privileged former lives for a fresh start elsewhere, far from the wreckage of their misdeeds. One night, months later, there was a timid knock at my door. I opened it to find Jennifer standing on my doorstep, a hollow shell of the woman I had once loved. Gone was the vibrancy, the confidence that had first drawn me to her. In its place was a haunted, empty gaze, etched with the weight of all she had lost. "I've lost everything," she whispered, desperation lacing her words. "Please, Charles, I'm begging you to take me back. I've learned my lesson, I swear." For a fleeting moment, I studied her features, searching for even a glimmer of the woman I had so deeply cherished. But all I found was a stranger, someone I no longer recognized or cared to know. Shaking my head, I regarded her with a tranquil, defeated expression. "I'm sorry, Jennifer, when you burned me. Any possibility of forgiveness burned with it." Without another word, I closed the door, shutting out the broken remnants of our life together. She had made her choices, and now it was time for me to make mine, to move forward unburdened by the shadow of her betrayal. A new chapter awaited, one unblemished by the scars of her deception. And as I turned to face my future, I felt a profound sense of peace wash over me, knowing that I had finally regained control over my own destiny. This is where our story comes to an end. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your precious time. If you enjoyed this story, then please make sure you subscribe to this channel. That would help me a lot. Click on the video you see on the screen, and I will see you there.